The police department is in the middle of recruiting its next class of officers. They're hoping to see applications pick up soon.
In 2021, Omaha Police reported having their largest, most diverse class yet. Last year, they had about 500 applicants, which is about half of what they had in 2020. According to Omaha Police, right now they have just 175 applicants for about 50 spots to hopefully graduate this July. The reduced number of police applications is a nationwide trend.
Nationally, we're facing the same challenges other departments have nationwide. And of course, we would like to have a larger pool of candidates. But I think we can still be able to, we'll still be able to get good quality candidates with the number that we have.
OPD is taking applications through February 9th. The department sees the most submissions roll in at the beginning and end of their recruitment time frame.